welcome back to the Sales on Demand Show. My name is Adam. You can find the Sales on Demand Show at www.salesondemandshow.com. All of my episodes are titled with an E in front. Just type in the number that you want to see and you will be taken directly to the episode. You can also subscribe to this show on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and pretty much anywhere that you find podcasts, including Spotify. So I'm right there with Joe Rogan. If you like the podcast, if you've been listening for a while and you haven't left me a review, maybe get in there and do that, because the more reviews I get, the more people will listen to the show and the more people will benefit from the show. Well, today I'm going to be talking about customization, personalization. It's the same thing, really. So this is episode 84, and I feel like I've been sitting in front of my computer for just the last 2 weeks straight. But this is part of the build-up to Christmas, and I have to do this because I want this year to be super-duper successful. Also, it is snowing outside, and it keeps snowing, and it's also cold, and it snows again. It's supposed to snow 10 centimeters tomorrow, which is almost half a foot. And, it's only October. Well, it's the end of October. So we had a good first half and kind of a crummy second half, which is kind of normal for Canada. What do you expect? So, I don't even know what day it is today. It's Thursday, I guess. So, but one of the benefits of working from home is that there is no more commute. So, all of those other rat racers were zooming around on the slick roads and getting stuck at the intersections and all that stuff, and I'm just sitting here eating lunch with my wife and, enjoying a nap at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But then, I just kind of work all day long. Anyway, so the debates are also going on, I think, right now, along with some just bizarre stuff involving a laptop and a certain fellow whose name rhymes with Blunter. Anyway, so that's what's going on right now. But honestly, all of that is really irrelevant because it's not going to change the needle on your business who gets elected in the next presidential election. I don't think it's going to. Maybe keep an eye out for what's going on, just so you can maybe sell some products based on trending topics. But that's it. That's really the only thing that you need to watch out for. It's all moot. It's all kind of pointless. What is selling, though? Well, custom products are huge, and also the topic of this podcast. So I wanted to report to all of you fine people the success that I've been having with launching customizable products. So I decided this year, I have the time and I have the knowledge how to do this. I was going to launch as many customizable products as I can, and I've been doing this for maybe a week and a half. I had some army training this last weekend. It was fairly exhausting, actually, but it was a lot of fun. It was also very cold, but it kind of cuts into my time doing this stuff. But I've had 25 sales of customizable products in about 2 weeks, which is 2 weeks is when I started actually doing this pretty hard. And I've got about, between 25 and 30 listings on Etsy, maybe closer to 25 than 30, and I'm doing about 5 a day. I'm trying to launch 5 a day customized listings, and then I'm doing even more non-customized listings. So just the ordinary design with the phrase or something like that. I'm doing lots and lots of those, plus the customizable listings. Some of the listings that I'm doing are taking quite a bit of time to make, some of them not so much time, but I've been doing ornaments and mugs. That's pretty much it for customizable products. So I've made 25 sales in 2 weeks with just those listings. So if you don't know how to measure success, that's actually pretty good. And it's exactly what I expected and what I'd hoped for from this process, meaning that I'm on the right track and I just need to keep doing what I'm doing now, and I will eventually reach a level of sales that I probably won't even be able to keep up with. So that'll happen, I'm sure, getting into November. Probably, I'm sure right now that everybody's kind of distracted because of a certain debate between two old guys. But believe me, when the middle of November hits, people start thinking about their Christmas shopping, and that's when things start to take a noticeable spike upwards. And you're going to start seeing, double, triple, quadruple the number of sales, day over day, week over week, and it's going to look like a hockey stick, which is irritating in terms of, having to do a lot of work in a short period of time. But, it's also, this is the time of year where we make our money, right? The rest of the year, we're just kind of humming along. Mother's Day and Father's Day accepting. Maybe Valentine's Day is pretty good. We had a spike in summertime for masks. That's not a normal thing. But most people make most of their money, or a good portion of their money, just over the Christmas rush. And this year I'm going to be doing it with customization, so I'm going to give you some tips and things that you need to know about customization. But first, I need to tell you that if you're not already on my email list, you are definitely missing out. So I have launched my own training program where I teach in detail with videos how to do everything that I'm doing right now. You get to watch my mouse move around the screen as I click each button. I show you the actual products that I'm selling. I'm not actually, sometimes I'll hide things if it's, delicate information, but most of the time you're seeing exactly what I'm doing. I'm not hiding the titles of things, and I actually launch real products on camera. So if you want to see this in live and in person, you can do that. You only need to go to salesondemandshow.com/AZ and sign up for my training program. It is $300 right now. It's worth every penny of it. You can get a discount, $200 off the regular price, which brings it down to $300. Man, that's a lot of numbers. So with the discount, it's $300. And the code for that is SOD100, the same code it was before, and I've just changed it so that it's now discounted a little bit less because I did promise I was going to do that. However, $300 is not too much to pay for that. So you can get that at salesondemandshow.com/AZ. And you can watch me do all of this stuff. So, of course, last week I was talking about how to make yourself more productive. One of the things that is it's important for me, and it's something that I'm really focusing on doing, is sharpening the saw. So I occasionally will take time and I'll just go and do something that is not launching new products. Right now, the bulk of my work is launching new products, and I've been working as hard as I can at that. And it's tedious when you do it all day long. There is no shortage of ideas for me to launch, but just sitting in front of the computer, it's a bit tedious. So you gotta break yourself away from that, sharpen the saw, get yourself refreshed, do something a little bit different. Listen to a podcast about business, and when you come back and attack your work again, you're going to be much more productive. So that is one of the things that I need to work on and that I am working on. So, customization. I always knew about this. I knew that Etsy was big for customization. I knew that there was a lot of sellers that were just basically doing mostly customization, and I would get a ton of requests from people, especially over Christmas time and also other times of year where people would see things that I'm selling and they're like, hey, can you make it say this? And And I'm like, okay, sure. So I would create a new order for them, and then I would fulfill it, and that was customization. And people like that. So this year, I am going to make customization my the point of my spear, if you will, and I'm going to use it in a big way. And a couple things I'm doing about customize, a couple points that you need to know about this to make it work for you. So I always get asked by actually getting back into Mother's Day and Father's Day. I noticed that customization was really taking off. I had a couple of customizable listings, and I was getting loads of orders for just like, I think maybe I had 4 customizable listings. I had probably about like 40 or 50 orders just from those customizable listings. And that includes Amazon, where I was getting tons of orders for one listing. There were some days where I had like 5 or 6 orders from just the one customizable listing, and it was a really like old design, something that was popular in like 2017, and I had used it for Facebook ads, and then I put it on Amazon as a customizable listing, and it still sells. It was selling this year, and that's Amazon. That's how things work on Amazon. They tend to stick more, whereas on Etsy, you kind of have to keep up with trends in order to maintain your sales. But I noticed that it was really popular, and I thought to myself, this could be full time. I could do this full time, and it was always this backup plan for me. And I thought, well, you know what? If I ever just lose my job, I know what to do. I know how to make money really quickly, and that is by launching a whole bunch of customizable listings on a whole bunch of different topics. And I always get asked this by new sellers. In fact, I was just asked this today. Somebody said, well, how can I don't have a lot of money to spend, and I need to make money pretty quickly. How fast can I get money really quickly? And my first answer was, well, there's really no way to answer that. But truthfully, I can sort of answer that for you now. I can tell you the fastest way to grow your business if you have time. If you don't have time, this is not really going to work for you, because you do need some time to do this, especially if you've never done it before. It's going to take you much longer to do it the first few times. But it is the fastest way to scale up your sales on Etsy, and maybe not so much on Amazon. You still, Amazon is a bit more, it's a tough nut to crack. It's not really designed for print on demand. Etsy, it really is, and it's easy to launch these listings. You can do 5 a day, no problem. You just need a couple of hours to do it. And that might sound like a lot of time, but with the amount of sales you can get from just 5 listings, you get way more value for your time. Of course, the orders take more time to fulfill. We'll talk about that shortly here. So the first thing I need to tell you about customization, it is not low-hanging. Okay, so many of you might be familiar with the training program that I've talked about before called the low-hanging system. It is a training program that's put out by Rachel Raffay. She is one of my mentors. She is also, I guess, sort of my boss in a sense. She's in charge of the coaching program that I'm part of, and that's going really well. And so, she's a great person, a very brilliant entrepreneur, and she owns Custom Happy, which is the warehouse that prints a pretty large proportion of my coffee mugs. And all of my ornaments and black coffee mugs, a bunch of different items get printed at the Custom Happy warehouse. So many of you might be familiar with her, maybe you're not, but in any case, she has a program called the low-hanging system, and it's basically all about finding these really easy to use phrases, and then you create a bunch of just products that have just text on them, and then you launch them on Etsy and Amazon. It's an easy way to build up your sales. It doesn't take very much time to do. You can do it anywhere if you use an app called WordSwag. You can do it from your phone. You can create these designs and then just upload them when you get home or whatever. So a lot of people, they'll just be sitting somewhere and maybe they'll just pull out their phone and they'll have thought of something, or they'll see something and they're like, oh, that would be great on a coffee mug, and they'll just make the design there. That is low hanging. And I say it's low hanging because it doesn't take a lot of work. And when you make a sale from one of those designs, you don't have to do any work to fulfill it if you have an integration. If you don't have an integration, then you have to put all the customer address in and all of that stuff. So doing customization is not low-hanging because you can't integrate your listings. There are some print-on-demand suppliers that do customization, but I wasn't impressed with their work. Now, there is something called Orderdesk, and this is a fairly complex system, but I'm going to be using it to take most of the work off of my desk in terms of customizable orders. It's going to handle everything except for actually making the customer's design. So I still have to do the artwork, meaning that I have to type in the customer's name into whatever template or whatever, download that file, put it in a folder, and link it to the order. So in that sense, it's not passive income, meaning that you can't just create the design and then have it just be fulfilled automatically. You have to do things manually. There is some manual work, but it's not a ton. So that's point number 2, is that it's not passive. Now, here's the thing. I charge more for all of my customizable orders, and I charge a fair bit more. In fact, I'm probably going to raise my prices once we get into the Christmas rush, and shipping prices are going up a little bit, so I'm going to have to make a decision about how high I'm going to make those prices, but I'm going to push them up as much as I dare. So probably $5 or $6 more than a regular sale. So I normally charge $20 for a coffee mug, and that's the base price that I charge for any coffee mug anywhere, including Amazon. I have one at $19, so that's the lowest price I'm willing to go. And that gives me about like $6 or $7 profit when all the fees are taken off. Now, for a customizable listing, I'm charging $5 more than that. So I've nearly doubled my profit with the same number of orders. I'm getting, I don't know, maybe call it 50%, 60% more profit. So you don't need as many orders to make good profit. Now, that extra profit is kind of what you're paying yourself for your time. So you got to do a little work. You got to pay yourself for that little work. So you have to raise your prices. Okay, so that's point number 3. Raise your prices. Do not charge the same for customizable orders as you do for normal orders, right? Now, number 4 is if you're doing customization on Etsy and you have an Amazon store as well, put as many of those as you can on Amazon as well. Chances are many of them won't even get noticed by the algorithm, but there is a little bit of a cheat code. I'll talk about that in a second. But Amazon also has a customization feature. The Amazon custom system is ridiculously overcomplicated. It is just... On Etsy, it's very easy to create a personalized listing. You click turn on personalization, and then there's a little box there. The customer types in what they want, and it's done. If you want to add an image, the customer just emails you the image or messages you the image, and it shows up on the order right next to the customer's name. Super duper easy to do. Okay, on Amazon, you have to go through this lengthy process. And there's a mock-up that the customer sees, and it is just really tedious to launch these listings on Amazon. So what I'm doing is I'm going to wait and see what's selling well on Etsy, and then I'm going to move those listings to Amazon as well. And I'm going to cheat by using Amazon pay-per-click to kind of get the ball rolling. So I've already started doing that with a customizable ornament that has a Photoshop picture on it. And I've already had a bunch of sales of those on Amazon, so that's working really well. And I fully expect that I'm going to be slammed with sales of this particular product, because once you make a sale on Amazon, that product now has some ranking, and it's much more likely to be found by customers in the future. That's the great thing about making a sale on Amazon, even if you're using pay-per-click to get that sale. And I do go into pay-per-click on my course. I show you how to do that, and it's not that difficult to do. It's a scary looking process, but it's actually pretty easy once you get doing it. And it's really, really, it has lots of features in it. Lots of scary features too. Things that you don't even need. So anyway, once you get an order on Amazon, that product has now got a rank, and it can scale up really quickly. As I've told you before, I had one product over Mother's Day that just was getting so many sales in a very short period of time. And this was back when I was working full-time, so I'd have to come home and send off all those sales. I wasn't using any integration for Etsy, so I had to manually input all of my other sales, and it just got like tedious and time-consuming. So, yeah, that was good, time-consuming, but I made a lot of money. So number 5 point is don't get too fancy, but make it look nice. So when we're talking about low-hanging, easy-to-make designs, you don't need to make fancy-looking colors and pictures and images and stuff like that. With personalized listings, you should make them look a little bit nicer than the basic mock-up that you get with Gear Bubble, for example. The mug mock-up, it's kind of just pale looking. It's not really pretty. So what I've done is I've purchased Photoshop mock-ups, and I have Photoshop, and I've learned how to use Photoshop, a little tiny bit, enough to do mock-ups. And these mock-ups look really, really nice, and it takes only about 30 seconds to make them. And I've noticed that I think it's improved my sales quite a bit. Now, it's not going to make things sell if they're not already selling, but anything that you do get sales on, add a fancy mock-up to it, and you'll probably get more sales. Or at least you'll get people who will see that and be more impressed by it. So that's the thing with these customizable listings, is that you need to make kind of a nicer looking mock-up to stand out. So let's talk about how to actually send these orders off once you get them. So there is a program called Order Desk, and it's not connected to anything. It's a standalone system, but it can be connected to a whole bunch, and I mean a whole bunch of different suppliers, platforms, print-on-demand suppliers. It is a very, very functional system, but it's complex. So getting it set up takes a little bit more work on the back end. I would say that it's more difficult than getting your Amazon account set up. And if you've done that, you'll probably understand what I mean when I say it's more difficult. It's very, very, but it is powerful. It is a very powerful system. So what Order Desk does is that it connects to Amazon or Etsy or both, and then it'll download your orders, and it'll get all the customer information, and it'll just hold on to that. Then you can send those orders to any of your print-on-demand suppliers you want. So if you've got, if you're using Custom Happy for this mug or that, ornament, then you can you can say, I want that order to go to Custom Happy, I want this order to go to Guten, or whatever. And you just have to have a folder with all the images, the artwork in there. And then those print-on-demand suppliers will get that order with the artwork, and they'll fulfill it. Then when it ships, they send the tracking information back, and then OrderDesk uploads it to Amazon or Etsy. And I think you even named eBay too in there. So that is huge. Now let me tell you how big that is, because one of the most irritating things about tracking orders is the constant having to check and see if an order is fulfilled, and then, add the tracking number, and sometimes you make mistakes and put the wrong tracking number in, so it's really annoying. But OrderDesk makes it easy, and I'm still in the process of setting that up. So I'll let you know how that goes. So that's it, guys. That's it for episode 84. So get out there. If you got some time, create some personalizable listings. Let me know how it goes. Catch you on the next one. Cheers.